Hi, everyone. Welcome to ESOP Radio. I'm Trevor Gilmore.
And I'm Ben Spade. And as we kick off the new year, let's share our own top 10 predictions for the ESOP market in 2026. Trevor, what's your top 5?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. And I think about 2026 and the trends we see out there, technology, companies that we do business with, and so on, general economy. What do I predict this year? So here are my top 5. Number 1, I predict AI will increase the ESOP awareness as a tool for business owners. And what I mean by that is you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, et cetera, out there, a lot of data already on valuation multiples, what the ESOP option looks like, and so on. So I fully expect more and more business owners will be using that and getting educated before going down the ESOP path. Number 2, more companies owned by Gen Xers will use partial ESOPs for liquidity. Been seeing this a lot with our client base past couple of years. Younger owners wanting to sell partially to the ESOP, meaning less than 50%, get some cash out, reward and incentivize all the employees. I don't expect that trend to slow down. I think it will increase. People are very intentional about what they want for the future for themselves and for their company. Number 3, I predict more PE companies will look at ESOPs to offload their portfolio companies. Private equity companies are sitting on so many portfolio companies. And last couple of years, I've had a lot of discussions with PE funds saying, hey, let's take a look and see what the ESOP option looks like. Big issues there are value, structure, and financing to make the whole thing work as a viable exit tool. Number 4, I expect to see more banks lending money to ESOPs. A lot of the big banks out there and even small regional banks really want to lend to high quality ESOP companies. We get calls all day long from banks saying, hey, do you have deals for us to look at? So I think that will be a net positive for the industry, meaning more capital to help these deals go through. Number 5, I expect to see an increased demand from employees for employee ownership. As more employees are out there accruing nice ESOP account balances and having skin in the game, they talk to their friends, their family, et cetera, and they spread the word. So I expect to see a lot of employees say, hey, I want to work for an ESOP-owned company. And maybe there's a bit of a premium there, right? If you're an ESOP-owned company. Yeah, so that's my top 5 there, Ben. And let's go ahead and kick it over to you. What do you predict this year?
Yeah, Trevor, those are great, and they're pretty wide ranging. I think that you touch on all aspects of where ESOPs come into play, and there are some pretty interesting trends. For me, mine's kind of broken up into 2 hot takes and then 3 maybe trends that I see. So the first 2 are number 1, we'll see our first cannabis company ESOP in 2026. I just think with changes in regulation federally, as well as the prevalence of states that do have legal cannabis dispensaries, growers, etc. It's just bound to happen. I don't know when or what a company would look like that would make a good candidate, but I just feel that our first cannabis company will become an ESOP in this year. Number 2, we'll have the perfect storm of baby boomers, Gen Xers leaving, either in part or in full, the businesses that they started, kind of touching on your point about Gen Xers earlier. But we'll also see some more pro-ESOP legislation, perhaps around what is fair market value for these transactions. Perhaps about can we offer incentives to sell to your employees? Some states are already doing that, but there might be a larger push federally because ESOPs are by and large a bipartisan tool and they get bipartisan support. Number 3, I think ACE companies, that's architecture, construction, and engineering. Those companies will continue to lead the charge in implementation of ESOPs. We see more and more that those companies are ripe for this type of a long-term employee benefit. That the makeup and the culture in those companies seem to lend themselves well alongside the financial aspects. Number 4, I think building an ownership culture before implementing an ESOP will become more commonplace. We're seeing a lot of companies implement things like EOS or some type of either entrepreneurial mindset or ownership mindset to engage and empower the workforce. And an ESOP is a tremendous tool that can be sort of icing on the cake there once everybody's rowing in the same direction. And then finally, number five, I think ESOPs will no longer be seen as a last resort. You know, a lot of times they got kind of shoved off in the corner and just saying, you know, it's not what you want. If you can't find a buyer, if otherwise you're just going to shutter your doors, you know, perhaps an ESOP's a good option. I think they'll become more a strategic tool for competitive advantage, not only as an exit strategy, leaving a legacy, but you know, keeping your company in the town that it exists. A competitor is not coming in and just sweeping up that market and implementing their own policies, strategies, whatever cost-cutting measures. So it's a tool to stay in your market, and then also to attract and retain talent in terms of employees. I think kind of touching on your point a little bit about the employee demand, more and more employees are seeing what a big benefit that this can be, what a meaningful benefit. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest trends in 2026. So Trevor, that's what I've got. And that makes our top 10. What do you think about that?
Awesome, Ben. Totally agree with you. I think we'll see a cannabis ESOP out there. So 2026, let's see what happens, right? Got 11 and a half more months to go here. And, you know, your last one there about, you know, companies being more intentional in employee ownership, you know, and culture and so on, employee ownership mindset, right? Skin in the game, all that good stuff. This kind of dovetails with the trend we're seeing here is companies actually are proud to be ESOP, right? And, you know, in the past, the companies highlight the fact that they were, maybe not, right? You know, but companies now are very much giving the message front and center, hey, we're ESOP owned, give you skin in the game, right? And it's almost becoming sort of like a premium experience with an employer to be part of an ESOP, right? You know, compared to some company that isn't. So, you know, I bet branding and so on, I think we'll see more of that, you know, kind of a premium applied to ESOP owned companies, and especially, you know, with employees, right? Saying, hey, who do I want to work for? You know, we're an
Yeah.
ESOP as well, you know, here at Menke's, we sell them, you know, we're ESOP, you know, we truly live and breathe it. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a great, happy new year. Talk soon.